Today we are going to talk about the shadows of NoFap. And this is something that you do not want to miss because this is so incredibly important. Back in 2012, when I found Gary Wilson's site and the whole concept of rebooting, I also found rebooting forums and I started using them. One particular forum had a journal section that I started writing in, and over there we were a bunch of like-minded individuals who were all trying to give up the porn. So we shared our ups and downs and we supported each other throughout the journey. But I quickly noticed something that sent shivers down my spine. There were those among us who became so fixated on hitting a certain number of days that they put their entire lives on hold. For example, there was this one guy over there who was determined to hit 180 days before even thinking about dating again. Now, I'm not saying there is something wrong with that. There's certainly nothing wrong with taking a good amount of time for yourself. And you certainly do not have to date or have a girlfriend if you don't want to. But this guy really wanted a serious girlfriend and maybe one day have a family of his own. And here's the kicker. Every time he relapsed, he spiraled into self-loathing and started the countdown again. Now, I always believed in the power of progress, but not at the expense of putting your life on complete hold. And eventually I overcame my addiction, and so I stopped using that forum. In fact, I stopped using it quite a long time before I overcame my addiction. But here comes the real kicker, so listen carefully now. Several years after I had overcome my addiction, I went back to that forum just to see if it was still active. And sure enough, I saw that same guy still chasing that elusive day mark and still hadn't been out on one single date, despite him wanting a girlfriend. And the sad paradox here is that one of the most common things that drive and fuels a porn addiction is that we are longing for connection. So I'm sure you can see the problem here. Should he have started putting himself out there more, despite not having his life 100% fixed, he would have slowly started developing more connections, not just with girls, but with people in general. And then maybe he would have reduced the very thing that was fueling his addiction in the first place. Now, it's not like I'm judging anyone here. His reasoning was very understandable and even logical in some sense. Because, well, we feel that we can't really be a part of, the machinery of the world if we are broken. But we should still not put our lives on hold, precisely because of the danger I just described to you here. And by the way, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not talking about dating specifically here. But the point of my video is to warn against putting your life on hold in general. It can just as well be avoiding starting a course or going to the gym or playing a musical instrument because you have social anxiety and so on. Listen up here, guys. We grow with the task. We rise to the challenge. And if there's no challenge, then we can't grow. And if we don't grow, then that can in and of itself become the very reason for why we won't be able to fix ourselves. So it becomes a trap. Guys, you have to understand that this is a journey that does not really have a specific end destination, and that we are growing while we are walking it, not once we get to a specific end point. There is a famous quote that says, "The enemy of the good is the perfect." And I think that quote goes well with today's video. And so now you say, but what does it mean? Well, it means that the very act of trying to make it perfect will become a hurdle so you don't even manage to make it good. Alright, and so if you need help with ending your relapses, then you can read about my 4-step porn crashing system using the link below. And if you're interested in discovering a bit more about my backstory of just how addicted I was, how I figured out the concept of said system, and finally overcame my addiction, then you can take a look at this video right here and you will see exactly what I mean.